Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Hello and welcome, Cheap Shot Nation. You're watching Cheap Shot Entertainment, and this is Wrestling Friends' review of AEW Double or Nothing. Took place on the 30th of May 2021. Also happened to be the Sunday before Bank Holiday Monday here in the UK, so I sat up and watched it. It was light by the time I finished, and I didn't actually get much sleep. So if I slur my words or do anything wrong, you know why, and that is my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. It took place in Daly's place in Jacksonville, Florida, and these are all my thoughts. If you want to find out what they are, please join us for the main part of the video. So one of the things I was really looking forward to as part of AEW Double or Nothing was actually the NWA Women's Championship. And I don't seem to be defending any other NWA Championships on the card, and it is the only belt that Kenny Omega doesn't seem to have at this point in time, but we'll get to that later on. The buy-in, it is the NWA Women's Championship on the line. Serena Deeb versus the first ever AEW Women's Champion in Rhea. And this was a really good match. I really liked both of these ladies. Serena Deeb coming in as the champion, having beat Thunder Rosa on an episode of Dynamite, I believe, actually. So it was right on the... Actually, it wasn't on an episode of Dynamite. I think it was actually on an untaped show that they were doing, or a show that was coming up later on. So I did actually end up watching it, but Serena Deeb's been the NWA Women's Champion now since October, so she is coming in with a lot of momentum. Slight attitude change here from Serena Deeb. Now, I really like Serena Deeb, liked it even way back when she was in the Straight Edge Society. I thought she was really, really good, and it's a damn shame that she got released for what she did. Which I don't know whether it was kayfabe or not, but there you go. But really good match, really good match, and it took a while to get going, this one, but by the time it did set up, it was blinking excellent, and it would be the Serenity Lock which would unlock the tap out from Rhea, and Serena Deeb would retain the championship. Great pre-show match. Like I say, it took a while to get going, but once it started burning, those embers just lit the fire, and it was a really good pre-show match. Probably one of the best I've seen for quite some time. I'm going to give this one 4 cheap shots out of 5. It is what you'd expect on a pre-show. There's no way that they were going to replace any of the AEW matches for this one being an NWA Championship match, but it was still really cool to see the NWA still doing their little bit of deals with the AEW Dynamite, AEW powers that be. Good match. So we move on to the main part of the show. The first match on the main show was indeed the Machine, Brian Cage, the Swolverine versus Hangman Adam Page. Cage versus Page. Again, really good match. In fact, not quite as good in my opinion as the buy-in, but it was still really good. Basically, I'm knocking points off for the interference because I don't think it needed to be in the match. Someone somewhere on a more popular YouTube channel called these things AEW shenanigans, and I'm going to go along with that moniker because there seems to be a lot of them, and after match attacks and things like that, and it's just not needed. It's too many. We're going into the territory of WCW back in 2000 here. Doesn't need to happen. Let these two guys fight. They were beating the snot out of each other. It's something that I was really invested in up until the point that the interference happened from Hook and Ricky Starks. And I love Ricky Starks. It reminds me of a very young Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and Hook is obviously being trained by his dad, Taz, and yeah, there was no need for this to happen apart from to draw those lines of dissension again in Taz's faction. But the FTW Championship never gets defended, so I don't know what that's about. They've already done the dissension in the ranks of the Taz's stable, and then they were fine. So I don't know why they're going back to this. I don't see the point of it. I don't see the point of them running in and basically causing a distraction, unless it was to literally distract Brian Cage and make sure he didn't win the match, which would be ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. But I'm going to give this one 3.5 cheap shots out of 5. It was a buckshot lariat after the interference. It was Cage that was distracted by Hook and Ricky Starks. The Starks throwing in the FTW Championship for Brian Cage to use. Brian Cage refusing, and then the buckshot lariat from Hangman Adam Page to pick up the victory. The match was delivering. It was delivering in every single way, and then the shenanigans happened, which knocks this one down to 3.5, and that's just the way I see this one, which is a damn shame. Moving on now to one of the matches that I'm really looking forward to on this card, or was really looking forward to, and it delivered in every single way. And I've got to say, the Young Bucks have endeared themselves to me over the course of this match, because their heel shenanigans, these are good shenanigans by the way, heel shenanigans were absolutely hilarious. Up to the point where they were taunting and saying things to the camera, and it was just funny. You know, it was like a movie laughing at itself. They know they're a parody of wrestling, almost, with the super kicks and things like that, and what people say to them, and they're using that in their character, and I approve. So, this match was for the AEW Tag Team Championships, and it featured the Young Bucks, Nick and Matt Jackson. I never quite know which one's which, to be fair. One's got really dark hair, one's got light brown hair. I think Matt is the really dark haired one. I don't know, correct me in the comments section down below. But I really like this match. It was against Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston. Like both of these guys, liked Eddie Kingston in NWA as well. Definitely one of the talents that almost fell victim to COVID, but then he got picked up by AEW, and he's just gone from strength to strength to strength from there, which is absolutely fantastic. And these two teams beat the snot out of each other, but this signifies everything that I don't like about tag team wrestling in AEW. The referee was stood in the ring, all four guys were beating each other up multiple times. There was double teams and no count. Now, when FTR came into AEW, they had them sign saying that the tag team division would now be under tag team rules, 5 counts and everything being traditional. They've almost gone back to where they was. It was chaotic. It was fun because of the people that were in it, but it did take something away. And the over chaoticness of the tag team matches on AEW at times just takes everything away. Go back to being normal tag team division. Get a few shenanigans in with referees back is turned. But when the referee's actually looking at it, not counting, and I don't know if that's just something for championship matches. If it is, it still sucks. Let's get this sorted, AEW, come on. But that being said, great match, told a great story. I was really hoping that Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston would win this one, but the Young Bucks showed their pedigree, still not completely endeared to them, but their shenanigans were really good, apart from they probably wouldn't have won this match if they weren't in the ring together for a long time during this match. Being said, it was still a really good match. It took 4 BTE triggers to knock out Jon Moxley and get the pin for the win. And the Young Bucks retain this one. I think Eddie Kingston and John Moxley will live to fight another day. They will pick up those championships at some point. But for now, the Young Bucks are still the championship. It would have been much better if the referee had exercised some authority here. And I'm going to give this one 3 out of 5 for that reason. The match itself was good. It was entertaining because of the people that was in it, but the referee, they need authority, man. They really do. You got Aubrey Edwards doing all of her stuff and doing it properly, and then whoever was refereeing this match, the bald chap, was just like, oh look, that's happening over there. What do I know about that? I don't know. And for some reason he's probably turned Yorkshire, but that's just the way I'm thinking here. If you like the tag team division in AEW, which I do, I just wish they'd have more rules and exercise the authority of the rules, then leave a comment down below. You know, tell me if you think I'm wrong, basically, and we'll go from there, because I love a good chat about wrestling. Well, let's move on. So we go on to the yearly staple now, which was the Casino Battle Royal. And the way this one works is that you've got it's not really a battle royal, it's more like a rumble, because you get groups of guys coming in. They all draw a suit, clubs, hearts, spades, and diamonds, and then there's a joker. So that's the way it works, and then they all come in at different periods. So the clubs start this one randomly, and that is Christian Cage, Matt Sydal, Powerhouse Hobbs, Dustin Rhodes, and Max Caster. And really like all of these guys, to be honest. Sydal gets thrown out before the next lot of people come in, and so does Max Caster, but he did do a really good rap on all 4 of the guys that were in the ring going against him on this one, which was really funny, and I do quite like the Acclaimed. So that being said, we're going to go on to the Diamonds now, which was Matt Hardy, Preston Vance, which is number 10 in the Dark Order, Nick Comoroto, who is the big hairy guy with big hair and a big beard, and Serpentico, so they come out next. Serpentico goes out straight away, and so does Comoroto, and number 10 as well as Rhodes. So we get 4 more eliminations. Something about this particular Casino Battle Royal that said to me that they didn't give it quite enough time to get going. Hearts come in now. That's Isaiah Cassidy, the Varsity Blondes, Cock Banner, Anthony Bowens, and Pentagon Jr., of course, come in. And so the Anthony Bowens goes out, the Acclaimed all out now, and clubs come in next. That is Jungle Boy Mark Quinn, Eric Solo, Evil Uno, and Lee Johnson. So we now got everybody in the ring, and just waiting for the Joker here, but Solo goes out, Evil Uno goes out, Penta Jr. goes out, and Powerhouse Hobbs goes out. Bearing in mind that Powerhouse Hobbs started the match. The Joker is revealed to be Leo Rush. Okay, and I think they'd just try and get someone really big, wouldn't you? I don't mind Leo Rush. I think he was, he was pretty decent when he was in WWE for that short period of time. So Leo Rush goes out, as the Joker. You'd think he'd have a bit more say in this, but he doesn't. Leo Rush goes out. Private Party, both are eliminated. Hardy goes out as well. Of course, it's the Hardy Party, and Matt Hardy said to the Private Party that if they help him win this match, he would reduce their fee to 15%. Jungle Boy wins, last eliminating Christian Cage and becoming number 1 contender. So that is what was at stake for the Casino Battle Royal, and I like the stipulation. I like the match in theory. This one did not have enough time. There was too much on the card to make this one work, and it definitely was not one of my favourites. It doesn't outshadow the Royal Rumble. Let's get that straight right here. It is a good idea. It is not a Battle Royal. Battle Royal means that everyone starts in the ring all at the same time. They don't come out at intervals. But it's a good concept. If you could just get the formula right, it would be much better. I'm not going to give this one a rating because it's really difficult to rate Battle Royals and Rumbles and things like that. But honestly, did not really get invested in this one at all, and yeah, it's not something I'll be going back to. But Jungle Boy is a good winner, and I'm happy with that because he goes on to face the AEW champion, whomever that may be, by the end of the night in 2 weeks' time on AEW Dynamite when it goes back to Wednesday. Let me know your thoughts on the Casino Battle Royal in the comments section down below. Next match is Anthony Ogogo versus Cody Rhodes, Britain versus the USA, and with Cody Rhodes coming out as the American Dream rather than the American Nightmare, you know which way this one was going to go. I was hoping Ogogo would go all over, that sounds really wrong, go all over Cody. And he did. He really impressed here. I've been really impressed with how they've used Anthony Ogogo. Natural athlete, and really been sort of playing on that boxing background as well. An Olympic boxer for Britain back in London 2012. Medalist, in fact. And he's just floated straight into professional wrestling like it's nothing. And it's, you know, really impressive. And that's the way he's been. Cody Rhodes is probably the best one to elevate him here, and I don't think he lost much by losing to Cody Rhodes in this one. Just chalk it up to inexperience, as it were. So the Vertebreaker is hit for the win, something that Cody Rhodes, I haven't seen hit for, well, I don't think I've ever seen him hit a Vertebreaker, but just shows that he had to bring something else out to put Ogogo away, and that just adds this little details in wrestling matches that add to the caliber of the opponent and the components within the match. So Cody Rhodes has to bust out a big move in order to put the big man away. Bearing in mind he's the big man. It's £219 to £218 because the extra £1 makes a big difference, of course. Ogogo was really impressive here. He's got a bit of chemistry with Cody Rhodes, so I was quite impressed with this one. I'm still only going to give it 3 out of 5. There was some shenanigans that I didn't approve of once again, but Ogogo, really impressive. I was hoping he would pick up the win for this one because Cody Rhodes has got to be going on his paternity leave very soon, so I thought he was probably going to leave on a low, but based on as soon as Cody Rhodes made his entrance and he was dressed like an American soldier from the Revolutionary War, well, from the War of Independence rather, then you knew what was going to happen here. But it was done really well. Ogogo didn't lose much momentum here, and he can move on. Cody Rhodes gets his win and gets his feel-good moment for his dad being the American Dream. And yeah, I did enjoy this one. Thought it probably would have been worth a bit more, but that's the way I review these things. 3 out of 5. Did enjoy it, but it was middle of the road. TNT Championship up for grabs next. It is Miro, the current TNT champion and face of the network, versus the Murderhawk monster, Lance Archer. Never really got that name, Murderhawk. Yes, don't know why they need to add monster on there. Never really got it, but I thought these two were going to come rip limbs off of each other, and they didn't. I was not invested in this match at all. Didn't feel it. Camel clutch, obviously Miro the Game Over or whatever it's called, Endgame. It's something to do with streaming video games, isn't it? And it's a shot at WWE. Yeah, didn't feel invested in this match at all throughout the whole match. Wasn't really built up too much either. But obviously during a pre-show thing, Miro did attack Jay the Snake Roberts, so he thought, you know, Lance Archer was going to come out, and I think that's ultimately what cost him. I think that's what they were playing with. And I give this one 2.5 cheap shots out of 5. Bang! Average match. The match itself was serviceable. I just was not invested in it, and I'm sure there were people invested in this, so let us know if you were. This is all about talking on social media, so let's be social about this one, people. Let me know what you thought. I thought this could have been a show stealer, and it fell short of the mark. AEW Women's Championship up for grabs next. It is Britt Baker DMD as your challenger versus Hikaru Shida, who has been the champion for a whole year. Even got a nice shiny new belt. I say it's a shiny new belt, it's just like they've put it in a photocopier and enlarged it a little bit. But there you go, that's it. Now, this one has been built up really, really well. Britt Baker has been built up really, really well here. And for me, there was only going to be one outcome. Shida has held the title for a whole year and defended it really, really well. It was time for a change. Much like Owen Hart would say, enough is enough, and it's time for a change. And wow, what a match this was. Both women putting it all on the line here, jumping off things, beating the snot out of each other, and just going toe to toe. There was lots of catch wrestling here, there was lots of striking, there was lots of submission moves, and it would ultimately be a submission move that would unlock the lockjaw of Hikaru Shida for Britt Baker, and you could just see the smile on her face as she reached that hand round and just put it in the mouth and did the mandible claw. And Britt Baker is your new AEW Women's Champion. Couldn't have happened to anybody more worthy at this point in time. I'm so happy for Britt Baker. Really good match. Kind of sad for Hikaru Shida because she was and still is really, really good in that squared circle. But we needed something new. I'm going to give this one 4 cheap shots out of 5. Absolutely brilliant. Brilliant. A few exchanges to finish it off, and then the back and forth leading to the finish was just silky smooth, and I approve of this one very, very much. Moving on now to a special tag team match. It is Darby Allin and Sting versus Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page. Lots of pages being turned here, but Sting, to say he's 62 years old, doesn't look like he's Mr. B, and they are using him really, really well in AEW, which they didn't do in WWE. So again, I approve of this, and basically you wouldn't think you'd get a pairing based on the fact that they both wear black and white makeup, and that is pretty much what this relationship is based on. Hey man, you wear black and white makeup, let's make a tag team. I'll be your mentor and you can be my student. Yeah, that sounds cool. I'll drive in my truck and you can come in on your skateboard and hook on the back of it, and we'll do all these really cool vignettes to get to the ring during our matches. These things are fantastic, shot in black and white, really creative. I think that's the bit that I really look forward to. The match itself actually was really, really good as well. Did enjoy that. And you know why I enjoyed it? Not only was it good and it told a good story, because Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky have been complete buggers to Darby Allin over the last how many months, but they actually used proper tags. They went out of the ring when the other person was in the ring and used a proper tag, you know, where they tag each other on the hand. I didn't think that was possible in AEW, but they did. And I'm going to give this one 3.5 cheap shots out of 5. Really good. Some of the things that Sting does, it does worry me sometimes when he's jumping off things and doing stuff, but you know what? It doesn't look like he's missed anything. It doesn't look like he's 62. And, you know, I was really impressed. But Sting and Darby Allin win. It is Scorpio Sky who tries to do the jumping cutter thing over the rope. Sting blocks it and hits a Scorpion Death Drop for the win. So Sting actually gets the pin here, and we move on with Darby Allin and Sting as a partnership. I approve. I just approve. Full stop. First part of the double main event now. It is the AEW Championship that is up for grabs, with Kenny Omega being the current reigning defending champion in a triple threat match. I don't even know if we're allowed to call it a triple threat match, whether that's just a WWE thing, because they just call it a three-way match here against the number one contender, Pac, and the number one contender, Orange Cassidy. Rankings, anybody? That being said, I find that three-way matches are often quite difficult to follow. This was not the case with this one. And yeah, it really, you know, everyone got their shots in. It was really, really entertaining stuff. Pac was flying about the place. Kenny Omega, Fingerbang Mania, whatever his name is. He, Twinkle Toes McFingerbang, that's the one, bang. He was throwing knees all over the place, and these three just had really, really good chemistry. Orange Cassidy using the pockets as his friend, as Kenny Omega was trying to dragon suplex him off the top rope. And yeah, it was just a really, really entertaining match. And towards the end, and I did say we'd hit this later, which we're going to do now, Kenny Omega is currently a 4-time champion in 4 different places. He is the AEW champion, the AAA Super Champion, the Impact Champion, and the TNA Champion. Now, I thought both of those were the same thing, but they're obviously clearly not. Those 4 titles literally would come into play as he hit Pac over the head with each single one of them, and I quite liked this little detail, you know, getting each shot in there with each of the 4 championships that he currently holds. And yeah, I thought it was a shame that it would end like this, but you know, with Kenny Omega being the super duper heel and everybody hates him, including me, and then you know, it worked. It worked for the character, and I'm fine with this. Don't think Orange Cassidy, as popular as he is quite ready for a main event title at this moment in time. And a TNT championship, maybe an AEW championship, maybe not quite just yet. I'm hoping that Pac will pick that championship up at some point, because he definitely deserves something out of AEW. I see him more as being a tag team champion maybe, and the TNT champion. But these three absolutely knocked it out of the proverbial park, and I'm going to give this one 4 cheap shots out of 5. Like I say, the 4 titles to the head of Pac before a couple of near falls, and the ref being attacked by Kenny Omega because Pac had the submission move on Orange Cassidy, wouldn't let go. Omega pins Cassidy after reversing a crucifix bomb into a crucifix pin, and Kenny Omega steals a win here, and that's fine. You know, because you know, he's the super heel, and that's what everybody wants him to be, and that's what AEW wants him to be. So that is how they are setting him up, and it's working really, really well. I've got no problems with this result, and it was a really good match. Now, this second part of the double main event was the Stadium Stampede, something that I've been looking forward to for quite some time. I do think, and I was discussing this with my mate Woody last night, do think that the Stadium Stampede and the Blood and Guts match are just too close together. I think the Blood and Guts match would have been much better later on in the year. Have the Stadium Stampede, let them fight a little bit, and then have the Blood and Guts match. That being said, the Stadium Stampede, always entertaining, pre-recorded match. Got things from the disco, they went in the freezer, they fought around the field, they battled into Daly's place at one point, and there were staplers involved, there was bats, there was hammers, all sorts of things, forklift trucks, you name it, it was here. Golf carts came into play, megaphone. I thought this one was really funny as MJF was attacking Jericho. He picked up the megaphone and did his rock voice and he went "ah" down the megaphone, and that was just really, really funny. There was a bar fight, like I say, there was a freezer. There was a golf cart, there was a motorcycle gang, Shao Kahn. I didn't even know that Shao Kahn was Tony Khan's dad. Who knew? Mortal Kombat, anybody? You know, and like I say, the stapler, which I would definitely associate with the indies, like small shows, but yeah, it was quite funny. But ultimately, you know, it wasn't quite as bloody as people want it to be in AEW, and I quite dig that. I didn't much like how much blood was spilt in the Blood and Guts match. I know it's called Blood and Guts and there's lots of blood and no guts. I mean, I was quite disappointed with that. But I thought this one was played out much better. It was more thought out to give you a bit of a laugh, a bit of a, oh no, don't do that kind of moment. And it just worked. This one was a damn near perfect match, and it would be Sammy Guevara getting the pin on Shawn Spears after a 630 senton splash. And it was nice to, 630 senton. Can't be a splash if it's a senton, because a senton is hitting them with the back. And I thought it was nice that Sammy Guevara, the youngest in the inner circle, would get the pin here. So it's now 1-1. Where are they going to go from here? But this match was just so entertaining, and it was really, really fun, and it gets a definite up from me, and I'm going to give this, I think I'm going to give this perfect score actually. 5 out of 5. There you go. 5 cheap shots out of 5. The top score. I really, really enjoyed this one. Perhaps a little bit more than the Stadium Stampede last year, although they had a lot of more entertaining spots last year. I thought this one was more like a fight, and I like that because that's what a Stadium Stampede is supposed to be. It's supposed to be a big fight in the streets without being in the streets. So there you go. That is my review of AEW Double or Nothing from the 30th of May 2021, also bank holiday weekend here in the UK, so I was very happy, it meant I could actually watch it. I'm now very tired and I've got work in the morning because the life of a YouTuber is never that simple. If you've enjoyed the AEW Double or Nothing pay-per-view, let us know. Let's get talking, people. You can join us on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter. Just get in touch with us. You can also leave us a comment down below in the comments section. Let's grow the channel. Let's get us out there, because as soon as independent shows come back in the UK, you can guarantee that Cheap Shot Entertainment will be there, bringing you the Cheap Shot Nation, the very latest from the independent wrestling scene. But until then, we've got plenty of wrestling coming up, and that is it for me. Make sure you click the subscribe button, make sure you like the video, share it with your friends, do all the YouTube-y type stuff, and I will see you next time. We're moving on to the next pay-per-view in WWE, which is Hell in a Cell. Yes, that has been moved to June. I don't know, but it has, and it's fine. I'm okay with it. It was a bit of a shock, but it's fine. So that is going to be the next major pay-per-view, and in between that there will be announcements on whether independent wrestling can fully come back with crowds and things like that here in the UK. But with the rise of the Indian variant of COVID-19. Who knows when that will be. Hopefully training can still take place within those bubbles, because I am looking forward to getting back and seeing my brothers and sisters of Aspire Wrestling Alliance. So big shout out to them from Cheap Shot Entertainment. You are the Cheap Shot Nation. I have been your host Luke, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.
Hiya.